By MICHAEL BALSAMO, ALANNA DURKIN Richer and COLLEEN Long, Associated Press Washington. In a private call with federal prosecutors across the country, Attorney General William Barr's message was clear: aggressively go after demonstrators who cause violence. Barr pushed his U.S. attorneys to bring federal charges whenever they could, keeping a grip on cases even if a defendant could be tried instead in state court, according to officials with knowledge of last week's call who were not authorized to publicly discuss the matter and spoke on condition of anonymity. Federal convictions often result in longer prison sentences. The Trump administration's crackdown has already led to more than 300 arrests on federal crimes in the protests since the death of George Floyd. An AP analysis of the data shows that while many people are accused of violent crimes such as arson for hurling Molotov cocktails and burning police cars and assault for injuring law enforcement, others are not. That's led to criticism that at least some arrests are a politically motivated effort to stymie demonstrations. The speed at which this whole thing was moved from state court to federal court is stunning and unbelievable, said Charles Sunwabe, who represents an Erie, Pennsylvania, man accused of lighting a fire at a coffee shop after a May 30th protest. "It's an attempt to intimidate these demonstrators and to silence them," he said. Some cases are viewed as trumped up and should not be in federal court, lawyers say, including a teenager accused of civil disorder for claiming online, "We are not each other's enemy, only enemy is 12, a reference to law enforcement. The administration has seized on the demonstrations and an aggressive federal response to showcase what President Donald Trump says is his law and order prowess, claiming he is countering rising crime in cities run by Democrats. Trump has derided protesters and played up the violence around protests, though the majority of them are peaceful. Pockets of violence have indeed popped up in cities, including Portland, Oregon, where protests devolved into clashes with law enforcement for weeks on end. Nights of looting and other unrest have occurred elsewhere: Rochester, New York, Minneapolis, Louisville, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. Federal officials were called into Kenosha, Wisconsin, after large protests and unrest following the shooting of Jacob Blake and the gunning down of 2 protesters and later arrest of a 17-year-old in their deaths. Notably, that teenager has not been charged with any federal crimes. Neither was a man accused of shooting and killing a demonstrator in Louisville following the death of Breonna Taylor. While Barr has gone after protest-related violence targeted at law enforcement, he has argued there is seldom a reason to open sweeping investigations into the practices of police departments.